Hi, I'm Alex, and this is the Pricode YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn the concept of controllers and views. These two concepts are the most important on the MVC pattern, which is very well used in several of the frameworks that you are going to be interacting in your software development career. The best way to understand them, as I always said, is just playing with them in the code. So let's go there now. So now that we have understood how the root system works on Laravel, let's play a little bit further with them. The first concept that we need to understand is that sometimes you need to set a root that you want to adapt some HTML for it, or maybe a couple other things. So the first thing we're going to do is just to try to convert that root, that root that we create over here on YouTube, and let's try to create it with a view. So as I said before, Laravel has a system that can handles views. So a view is a file. In simple words, it's a file that really handles variables and it comes, and it understands the logic that comes from the controller or from the app itself. Laravel sets the views under the folder resources and views. So here you can set as many PHP files with the root blade.php. With the extension. But the point is that Blade is a template system that Laravel handles to catch all the info, from the views, so to make it faster. Okay, so let's just try in this moment to convert this return a YouTube to a view. So the first thing that we need to do is to create the file. Let's create a file called, let me put a name, something like a YouTube late PHP. So the naming of that exactly view is going to be YouTube. So the good thing about this is that we just simple needs to return the, we can use the function number view. So it's just similar to here. Let's delete it. Let's comment it. I don't like it. And I can then say, okay, call me the YouTube view. And that's it. So what it has the YouTube view? Well, let's add a simple HTML tag over here. So for this is for example, and we can say a YouTube paper colors. So if we go over the slash YouTube root, I'm going to set something here. Very good rules. I like this. Let's just make a test. So we have over here YouTube, and oh, I don't have the server running. One sec. PHP artisan server. There you go. We have now this value that is exactly what we have here on this view. So let's try to make it a little bit better. Let's try to pass this for a controller that I have mentioned before, and controller is where the logic is going to live. So we are going to create a controller that controller is going to show the view. And after that, we are going to add a couple values for. Let's then do it. One of the things that I mentioned that I love from Laravel is Artisan, and with Artisan we can create controllers. So the whole concept of a controller is that you can create logic on it that you can handle, that you can use for for your application. So let's say something like this: per tree artisan make controller. Let's say YouTube controller. The naming is super important because one of the things that Laravel comes, I mean, that Laravel's use from Rails, because Laravel is based on Ruby on Rails naming convention, is that the controller needs to have the controller the controller name. So with the controller, you can distinct that a class is a controller or not. So this is more like a conceptual thing, but it's a pretty useful for, I mean, for the scalability of your application, because if your application has many controllers, it's difficult to not have that word over there because you're not gonna be able to find it easy on the file structure. We are going to take a look further, I mean, deeper about this, but for now, let's just try to keep the convention. So YouTube controller, let's skip enter, and the controller has been created. So where's the controller? So, and well, and what is the controller? So let's play with, and then you're gonna get exactly what the controller. I really like how you can understand things when then you start to play with. I mean, all conceptual things, you can read everything that you want here on the Laravel documentation. But to be honest, the best thing to understand anything in life is just to try test it, you know. So let's do it, and I will guide you on it. So we go here to the app folder. The app folder, as I said, contains all the logic of the system, and under HTTP and controllers, there is now our new YouTube controller PHP. So this is a class that extends from the main controller class from Laravel. And the good thing about this is that we can create functions that help us to manage um, the data from the roots. So let's do something pretty interesting over here. So function, let's put a name, something like, okay, let's just try to use the convention and then just a simple say index. And let's say that returns the view YouTube. So we are going to change this a little bit. And one of the conventions that Laravel has is that you can say, okay, so you are requesting the YouTube path, okay? So what I can do then? So you can say, you can tell to Laravel something like a YouTube controller at, and with the at, you can say, hey, I want to use the index function. So with the index function, what it's gonna do this is that it's going to receive the request YouTube. It's going to send the data to the YouTube controller and to the function index. So let's see what happens. Let's just to be sure. Okay, let's put a message here. Hypercolors from controller, just to be sure that we are passing all that route. Let's go over here. Oh, we have it. That's it. That's cool. So now we have created a root, and this root is passing for a controller, and then that controller is passed to a function, and that function then says, hey, just return the view. So we have the view. So imagine that you want to create something a little bit more complicated, something like, let's say, localhost 80,000. I said that you want to create something like a book, Star Wars, and you want to pass this name to the view, to the controller. So the main thing that we need to do is to create a root that can handle that. So let's do that. So we're going to say root. get book braces name, and we need a controller for this. So let's create a controller for it. So there's a PHP artisan make controller book controller. So we have, okay, so we have the controller over here. Let's create a functions for it. So it should be something like a function. Um, let's put a name, something like a show name. And let's say return the name of the book is. So we need to pass a variable to the return that we are setting. Let's say that the variable is name, but the good thing about the root is that we are passing this variable with this exact name. So the function is going to receive this variable name. So name, which is the name that we put it over here, it's the name of the variable that the controller is going to receive. So let's say book controller at show name. Let's see what happens. And Star Wars. There you go. The name of the book is Star Wars. So what happened if we want, for example, to have one? Let's say that I put something like a one over here, and the view that turns me the name. So we can add a better logic over here, just to, for example. So let's say that we receive the ID, and let's put something a little bit rustic over here. Say that this is an array, and let's say the books one is going to be Star Wars. Uh, but let's make a view for this. So we can make that this controller pass this information to a view. Okay, so let's create a view. Let's say new book, the late PHP and the views. So we have it there. Let's say, let's pass this. The H1 over here. And the name. Okay, let's put a message that we know that we are in the view. So this is the view. And the name of the book is name. Okay, so on Blade, as this is a template manager that Laravel comes with, we are going to pass the values between two braces. So we can set a name that we are going to expect to receive. Let's put a name that we know that is from the view. So let's say that it's view book name or view book. View book name. That's to be more specific. So we said something like a return the view name book and pass this value. So to pass a value on a view, you need to set an array, and the key of that array is going to be the name of the variable that we set. In this case, it should be viewbook name. So viewbook name is going to be books ID. So in this case, we have simple, let's say an array here that handles that. But we can put others. I don't know, Lord of the Rings. Another one that I love it. Let me put it here. Uh, Ready Player One. This is a good one. So let's make a test. So in theory, we should then pass the 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 URL book with an ID, and at that ID we should make a match here, and we are going to pass that match to the view, and the view should return us the matched book. So let's do book number one. Oh, where? Da-da-da. Oh yeah, here. Oh, Star Wars. Oh, the book number two, Lord of the Rings. The book number three is Ready Player One. Okay, so now we have created roots, we have created controllers, and we have created views, and we also have created a kind of data system here. But let's make something more sophisticated. So now that we have worked with controllers and views, the next concept that we are going to learn is models. So I really invite you to continue watching these videos, as here's where our application is going to start to get live. If you like the video, give a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next one.